Welcome to Getting Geeky with GameThrough. I'm glad you could join us. In case you missed episode 221, Wishlist Wednesday on Monday, which was Monster Mania, well, we've got a special treat for you. It's Monster Mania Take 2, the episode that happened after the launch of Monster Mania over the weekend. So you get double Josh if you go back and listen to episode 221, or you can scroll down his Kickstarter page. You'll find a link in the show notes at the very bottom. We're right there mentioned with We're Not Wizards in our episode with Josh, but now you get to listen to a little bit more Josh. So hang on until after Kickstarter Corner to find out more about Monster Mania that's currently on Kickstarter in case you missed it. This episode of Getting Geeky with GameThrough is proudly being powered by Rotunda-Last Man Standing family party game that is finishing up its tour on Kickstarter. In this game, you battle friends and family in 16 mini-games to decide a champion. It doesn't unfortunately look like they're going to make their goal, but if you want to follow along in case they relaunch or do anything exciting with the game, make sure you go ahead and back it, even just for $1. Nothing will be charged to your card unless they get to that $10,000 goal in the next 35 hours or less at the time of this recording. But definitely go check it out, see if it's a game you like. But Rotunda-Last Man Standing family party game. If you want to hear more about that game, then you might want to check out episode 217, Wishlist Wednesday on Friday, Rotunda-Last Man Standing family party game. We had the creators on the show back then. This episode of Getting Geeky with GameThrough is also proudly being powered by Oddbods G0-KARDS. You want to find out more about that? We also sat down with Sid, the creator of it, on episode 219, Wishlist Wednesday, Oddbods G0-KARDS. You can go listen to that as well. A way to get there easily so you don't have to scroll through all the mess that is the interwebs. Go to gamerleaf.com/podcast/directory and you'll find it all there. Or just go to our website and click on podcast directory and scroll down till you find the episode you like. But you should definitely check out Oddbods G0-KARDS. It's a great game that your kids can play with their friends, you can play with your kids, and you can also play to your game group. And go check out that interview we had with Sid to find out what is great about it. This episode of Getting Geeky with GameThrough is also proudly being powered by Scorched Kingdoms, the 2-player battleground card game, in which you become a lord in a new chess-influenced war game with fantasy TCG-style resource management and an innovative multi-deck system. They're so close to their goal, $802 to go in 3 days, as this project ends this Saturday, the 8th of December. So if you want to help make this game a reality, which it looks like it's so close, I would definitely go check out Scorched Kingdoms, the 2-player battleground card game. And at least scroll through the page, check out the awesome art that's there, and see if this game is one that you want to add to your collection. If it is, make sure you go ahead and back it on Kickstarter. The easiest way to get there is click the link on our show notes. Do that with any of the games to show both the creators that we have on and we support, as well as support us a little on our show notes. Now, let's go ahead and jump in to this episode of Getting Geeky with GameThrough. Reminder to hang on until after Kickstarter Corner, which will bring you 5 great games that are currently on Kickstarter, so you can hear our interview with Josh McMurray from Meet Me at the Table Games, who is a fan of the show and also has Monster Mania on the Kickstarters currently. So hang on, people, and let's jump into it, shall we?
Getting Geeky with GameThrough. The podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
So winter's finally upon us. I hate to say it. So just to keep you a little bit warm in the meantime, I hope you'll join us for this Kickstarter Corner. We'll be bringing you a couple of great games. Actually, it is only 4, as since I had planned the episode, one of them had reached their funding goal, so I might as well shout them out as it was just really recently, and they might be bringing you a late pledge depending. I'm not sure if there's time or if you'll be able to support them another way.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaf's computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
But you might as well go ahead and check out the Fumblecrit Wars game from McMcArt. It's a tabletop dice game. They did reach their goal, and they got some stretch goals as well. But it's a 2-player fast and fun dice rolling game where the object is to wipe out each other's warband first. Like I did say, they did reach their funding goal. Hopefully there's a way that you can go in. If you liked what you saw, you can go support it and check it out. But they reached their goal. It looks like a while back ago, but it looked like it was a fun game. Definitely check it out. It was a print and play game, and hopefully they'll be bringing us more great games. So check out the Fumblecrit Wars game that's already come and gone off the Kickstarter. Well, you probably want to know about some games that are currently on Kickstarter, don't you? I know I do, especially with the cold weather out there. I want some games that just the thought of them or looking at them on the Kickstarters can warm my heart or my freezing body, don't you think? Especially as I'm getting older. Maybe you're not getting older, but you still want a fun game. Well, you're in luck. You should definitely check out Glyph Chess, the magic board game that's still on Kickstarter from Blue Piper Studio. A little bit about it: it's a tactical style board game which can only be played by the most powerful wizards. They reached their goal quite some time ago in the first 48 hours, and they're going towards some special goals or unlocking stretch goals. At the top of the page, they got some stretch goals they're going for. Think of chess, but with magic abilities. And you know what? You want to find out more about this game and you're on the go? Well, not to worry. We sat down with the creators of this game and had a great interview. And you, my friend, can actually go listen to that. Just click on the show notes on the Glyph Chess special or the Glyph Chess Kickstarter Corner portion. Go to the update that was released on November 19th. It's called Podcast with Gamer Leaf. What a great name, as that's what it was. But we sit down with the creators and talk all about this great game. It looks really fun and exciting. So definitely check out Glyph Chess, the magic board game that's on the Kickstarters through this next Monday, the 10th of December. Another game that's currently on Kickstarter is Robogram, the programming card game reloaded. They're a little bit ways from their goal. You can help it become a reality if you check it out. But first, a little bit about this game. It's a game designed to introduce basic computer coding while taking opponents in epic cyber battles. It sounds really fun, and as well, just like with the Glyph Chess, we sat down with the creators in this great game to talk all about it. I learned there's more than just one computer programming language that I didn't know that before. But you want an easy way to find that interview? Well, you can do it as well by checking out the updates on their Kickstarter page. This one's called Kickstarter Corner Interview with the author, and it was released on the 29th of November. So check that out. Check out the game Robogram, the programming card game Reloaded, that'll be on Kickstarter through next Saturday, the 15th of December. Now, those games have been on Kickstarter for a while. Maybe you saw this one during its last run on Kickstarter, but it's since relaunched. It's the Final Flicktier relaunch. Yes, sirree, Bob. If you missed our Monday episode, so the episode right before this one, go ahead and pause. We'll wait for you. Go back and listen to that interview. Oh, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed sitting down with Gabe Barrett of the Board Game Design Lab podcast to talk all about the Final Flicktier relaunch that's currently on the Kickstarters. In this game, you boldly go where no asymmetric faction has gone before in this 4X game featuring a unique dice flicking mechanism for movement and combat. It sounds like an awesome game, and if you want to hear that interview, just go back to the last episode. I believe it was episode 224, as this one's 225. Let me go ahead and check that out for you for sure, though. Yes, that's right. Well, this one, no, I got the numbers wrong. You want to go back and listen to episode 225, as this is episode 226. And you can hear me sit down with Gabe to talk all about the Final Flicktier. It sounds like an awesome game. It's a 4X dexterity game. And this 4X dexterity game in space will be on Kickstarter through the 4th of January. So go check it out. Don't worry, nothing will be charged to your card until the campaign runs or is over. So you got time to do all your Christmas shopping and everything. And then afterwards, that's when it will come out. So don't worry about that. And go check out the Final Flicktier relaunch on the Kickstarters currently. Last but not least, another game that is on the Kickstarters through next year as well is Natural Selection. It's a fun educational board game that is suited for players of all ages. A game of dominance, survival, and sentience. This game sounds really cool, and in which you can be an omnivore, a herbivore, or a carnivore. I've never seen a game like that. And in this game, only the fittest will survive. So, like they say, survival of the fittest. And we sat down with the creator, and the only update they have on there is ours, in fact. It's called Interview with Game Relief. So it should be easy enough to find. So definitely go check out Natural Selection. That's on Kickstarter through the 7th of January. Let's go find out about a game that recently launched a Kickstarter and will be there through the end of this month. We now join myself, Game Relief, as well as Josh McMurray in this interview that's already in progress, talking all about Monster Mania. I hope you'll enjoy this interview. I know I did. Find out if I'm the interviewee or the interviewer in this interview with Josh.
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. I put out so many episodes. Perhaps you missed episode 221, our Wishlist Wednesday on Monster Mania. Well, perhaps you missed episode 221, Wishlist Wednesday on Monday, which was Monster Mania. Well, a special treat for you if you missed it and you don't want to go back. Or if you made it a special treat for you, even specialer, we have the creator of Monster Mania on for Monster Mania Take 2. Welcome back to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, no problem. So what has happened since we last had you on? I think you want to say you pushed a button or something sometime since then?
Yes, we pushed the launch button on Saturday.
Why Saturday? Was there any science behind that?
No, not really. Just kind of picked. It ended up being the first of that month, so we wanted to just do the first of one of those months. So, just seemed to be a good good date to do it.
Okay, so it looks like you're going through the 31st of December.
That's correct, yes.
Awesome. So that's pretty cool. And it looks like we've got a little bit, some people were glued to their internets over the weekend, and some people have yet found it. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, we're looking to make a bigger push. Hopefully, we still have 27 some odd days, so still got plenty of time.
Yeah, last I looked, it was at 5%, like 2 or 3, through the weekend. Is that right?
Yes, it's at 1501 is the total.
Somewhere
I think we
around
have
there.
24 backers. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, 24 backers, 1501, 5% funded. So that's not too bad coming through a weekend, I would say.
Yeah. We're kind of hoping that at least this week, picks up a bit more. We have a lot of people following the project. Actually, we have about 90, almost 100 people following. They just haven't pledged yet. So we're hoping that they like what they see and they go ahead and pledge.
Yeah, awesome. That's a new feature. They didn't always have that, at least since I've been following along on the Kickstarters.
Yeah. No, they didn't have that when we had Frontier out. All of a sudden, it shows me. I know I was reading something and people were saying, yeah, they should have that, and lo and behold, there it is, and it's very, very convenient.
There you go. Yeah, so going back to Frontier, usually they say the first and the last 48 hours on a Kickstarter are usually the best times. Do you remember how well the last 48 hours of the second run at Frontier did?
Yeah, it did really, really well. I think we were about 1,000 short on the last 48 hours, and we got that, I think, within the first 24 hours of that. So that was nice. I think people following the project, they finally were like, oh hey, it looks like it's about to be funded, let's go ahead and get it over the hump.
Yeah, sometimes people just kind of ride and see what's going to happen, even though if they would just jump on, it would be more likely to do it from the get-go.
Yeah, I think another thing behind that is they probably see other projects that they like, and so they go, well, I'll maybe make sure I have the money at the time, and I understand it. I mean, at least they're giving us a follow. That really does help. So it kind of gives us an idea of really who's interested in it.
Yeah, for sure. And something else other Kickstarters have seen, I don't know if it was back in the days of Frontier as well, but Kickstarter Live, do you have anything like that going on later on?
We'll end up doing that at some point. Yeah, that's I think that is relatively new, but I think they did have that when we launched Frontier. But yeah, we're definitely planning on doing a Kickstarter Live.
Like, will it be a playthrough, or any word on what it might be or when it might be?
Yeah, it'll be a playthrough. We'll probably have just the standard either 4-player free for all. As far as the time frame of that, probably this week or this weekend. We're hoping to do that.
Oh, okay, awesome. And I believe, depending if you plan it in time, on some of these other campaigns that are just in the last little bit, they give you an option where as soon as you put something on there that says you're planning it, I don't know what it looks like on your dashboard, but when I come to a project and it has that on there, it'll say follow along or whatever, and then it'll notify you. Like I had one the other day, and it notified me live stream from such and such creator will happen in 30 minutes or something.
Oh, that's pretty neat. No, I didn't realize that, but that's very helpful. I didn't know that if a person followed you, that's what ended up happening. But that's really convenient. It's a very, very nice feature that they have.
Yeah, so I don't know what happens when your actual followers, I don't know what they get, if they get updates or what they get exactly, but like as soon as you plan the actual Kickstarter Live, it puts some kind of banner underneath your Kickstarter video, and then it gives you an option to follow or be notified upon the launch of the video or whatnot. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yes, that is really cool. Yeah, we're definitely going to try to take advantage of that. Hopefully, we'll get some of the people who are on the fence. Maybe that'll push them over a bit. We'll hope so.
Cool, and yeah, that's awesome. And there's some big hitters in the online market of board games. Like if people aren't able to get the games at their usual regular day everyday stores, sometimes they go online. And in the US, I want to say there's Miniature Market and there was another one too. I don't remember what the name of it was. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't remember that. But speaking of Miniature Market, are you partnered with them in some regard to Monster Mania?
Yes, they are the fulfillment for Monster Mania. They also are promoting it. We've had a few people pledge. Actually, if you look in the comments, we had someone pledge because they received a flyer from Miniature Market saying, "Hey, back Monster Mania." So, and they're planning on sending out one of their email blasts. So hopefully that will get some people on board. We're hoping that really helps.
Yeah, that'd be cool. When do you any idea on when that blast will go out from them?
Yes, December 6th. So this week. So in the next couple of days. So that'll really show us. It'll be like kind of a make or break thing because they have a pretty big following. So
yeah, so hopefully that'll help. That's good. And if anybody wants to go in and check out the campaign, we'll leave links in the show notes so they can see that. What have you been doing on? It looks like on the updates you might be doing a similar thing, but there's also a Facebook event, and you've been pretty active over there ever since I jumped on.
Yeah, we just post all sorts of stuff. We're actually probably when I get off here with you, we'll be posting the. We had a demo event actually at the Miniature Market store on Saturday. We played Monster Mania. We had a couple people come by and play and told them about the Kickstarter and we had a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll be posting that on there. But we post a bunch of stuff on that page. The day one event, the Meet Me at the Table Games Facebook page in general. We just try to keep it as live as possible.
Awesome. And will you put that video up it is a video, you said, is that right?
No, it was a couple photos. We unfortunately didn't get any video of it, but we did get some good photos.
Oh, cool. Will those go up as updates to the backers as well?
Yes, we'll be doing that as well.
Awesome. Now, per se, somebody hasn't come and check out, or they haven't heard of Monster Mania yet because they were sleeping during the weekend, or for some reason their internet went out. But now it's back up, and they're hearing Getting Geeky with Game Relief. This is their first time hearing about Monster Mania. What can you tell them about this great game, Josh?
Well, it's got a lot to it. It's got basically the mechanics of the game. It's a very battle-oriented game. There's hand management, there's resource management, there's bluffing, because you'll have cards in your hand and say, "Oh, don't attack me," or I have this card. So, but essentially, the idea of the game is think Rampage or any of those Godzilla type games, movies, and it's basically what one reviewer described it as is it's an all-out rumble with you get like an army of monsters. Instead of just one, you're getting three, and there's a lot of strategy to the game, a lot of tactical aspects, but the main idea is to defeat 5 of your opponent's monsters. Once you do that, you have won that round.
And how many rounds are there?
Oh, there's no. That was a misplay of words. Yeah, you just win the game. So, but we are implementing. Basically, there's a deck building and card drafting variant, and we call it the Monster Mania Tournament. And basically, you play 3 rounds of that, and whoever comes out on top wins that. So technically there are rounds, but not in the free-for-all gameplay.
Okay, so because we have a copy, I know you're going to get mad, but I haven't fully got a review up yet, but you talk about a deck building variant. Where can I find that so I love deck building.
Yes, so you actually are not going to find it in your rule book that you have.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we did not put it in it was not fully finalized when we sent out the prototypes. But basically, I can just tell you right now how to play it. It's really simple. It's just like any deck builder. What you're going to do is, and I know a lot of deck builders have limits on that. They, pull out 20 cards, pull out 25 different ones, and kind of pull from those. But we kind of made it where you just take the stacks, put them up, put one of each. And there's a lot of different ones. You can kind of choose if you want to, or you don't have to. You can just lay them all out. And then each person, one at a time, is going to pick and choose what cards they want. And they're going to add it to their own deck. And basically, instead of drawing from a central pile, you're going to have a choice. You have to pick, I think it's 10 monsters. You have to have 40 cards in your deck. So I think there's 15 monsters, there's 8 supports, 7 counters, and then 10 environmentals. And basically, you choose which cards are going into your deck. So, it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, but you don't have to get all the booster packs kind of thing. So that's basically what that is. And then you just play as normal. And then it's the same exact game, except you're drawing from your own personal pile, your own deck. And then you can play up to 4 players. There's enough to have 4 players instead of 6 because, 40 cards times 4 people, that's 160 cards. So
okay, I get a lot of developers and people that are trying to work on games and stuff that listen. Can you walk us through the process of developing other different variants in Monster Mania?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, basically, the game was initially designed with a bunch of those kinds of things in mind. I wanted to create a game that wasn't just single dimension, just have a free-for-all mode. Even though that is fun, we wanted to give players the most out of everything. So that's why we have the solo modes. That's why we have, the co-op and the story that we're going to be including if everything funds. And again, the deck building and card drafting variants. We wanted players to have the most playtime out of that game. So when we created that, those cards kind of go hand in hand, and the strategies are so tactical that those cards will all go together. So when you create those variants, it kind of almost makes themselves, without you really realizing it. But yeah, that's kind of how that works.
Awesome. And I love the rule book, it's like every page gets a different number and I don't remember if they were all variants or just all kind of different rules. Like every page has a different number and it looks awesome.
Yeah. The rule book was definitely a lot of work to put that together. And, I made the decision to, include the solo objectives and the co-op and the other variants, because there are also other variants in there too. There's if you don't want to start with just one monster, you can start with 2, you can start with 3, and it kind of affects the gameplay. And we also did like the challenges too, which are almost like the trophies in a game. You play like on PlayStation, and you kind of try to achieve those while you're playing. They're really difficult, they're really hard to do, but we've had quite a few playtesters get a good majority of them, so they're not impossible. But yeah, it's give everyone bang for their buck. That's what I say. So
yeah, I don't know. I know I got a prototype and whatnot, but it seems like people might, if they back Monster Mania, they might get a whole bunch of cards. Am I right?
Yes, there's 216, 6 of those being the instruction cards, so 1 for each player in the game, essentially.
But 210 cards, that's a lot, plus the instruction cards. But that's not it. They'll also get better mats than we got in the prototype. They're going to get neoprene mats, is that right?
Yes, and every player gets one. So there will be 6, and that doesn't cost anything extra. We're not doing any stretch goals for that. We felt like, no, we want to just make sure we give players this already. We don't want them to have to pledge on them separately or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, that's all for a very low price of $50 plus free US shipping, am I right?
Yes. So that is, the standard pledge. yeah, you get that. The 50, the free shipping. You'll also get the soundtrack, the print and play PDF. I think we're also doing the phone wallpaper as well. You'll get that as well in your email.
Well, so it's like BMG, but I'm gonna get a game too, not just a soundtrack.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, yes, you get a bunch of things. Like I said, you believe in my project, we're going to give you the bang for your buck. So
Well, that sounds pretty cool. So I've got my game. We went ahead and backed it. We're gonna get our games hopefully around June of 2019. So I put it on the table. How do I play Monster Mania? In case anybody's wondering, Joshua.
yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, the setup is really really easy, and we wanted to make that as easy as possible. And that same goes for the co-op and the solo. The setups are all really simple. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take out one of each monster. So depending on if we get those stretch goals, there's going to be 18 total monsters in the game. You'll take one of each of those out. You will pass out, if you're playing just the normal game mode, one for each player. That's random, of course. So no two games are ever the same. You're getting a different monster every game, hopefully anyways. And essentially, from there, you're going to draw 5 cards. So each player is going to draw 5 cards. The player who most recently watched a monster movie is going to go first. And then you go ahead. There's 4 different card types in the game. There's monsters, there's environmentals, there's supports and counters. And you can do any number of actions on your turn. So there's no limit, which makes the strategy really intense. And also the tactical nature. You kind of have to, decide, oh, am I going to do this or save this for the next turn? But essentially, once you have a monster out in play, you're able to play environmentals, which either will make you gain attack points, or you can deal environmental damage. So you can, throw a cement mixer or an oil truck. Or if you go, I'd rather take the attack points from this card. I'm going to take 2 attack points and use that against my opponent, which then leads me to my next action, which is attacking, of course, because they're giant monsters. You're going to attack. So, and there's also no limit to attacking. If you have the attack points to do it, you can attack. So, a bunch of different things, but that's the main draw of the game.
I'm trying to take out 5 of their monsters, or 5 of somebody's monsters, and then I win.
Yes, and you can imagine in a 3 or 4 player game, you think that would be an easy task, but it's actually really not, because you're going to have players, defending themselves using their counters from their hands to evade attacks, or put environmental damage right back in your face. So we had one of the matches at Miniature Market. It lasted about an hour, but it was a really, really good match, and it was very even. It ended up only as a 1 prize point differential, so the one player won 5-4, which was a really, really good game.
Oh yeah, I thought I almost had Princess Leaf, but then she come and did something that healed her health, and then she took out one of my monsters and stuff. It didn't drag on, but it seemed like I thought I had her, and then I didn't.
Yeah, that will happen a lot. That kind of is the whole the tactical nature of the game. You draw cards, and then it's all random. But the nice thing about the game is what I mentioned earlier too. One of the mechanics is hand management, and this game really takes it to the next level.
So before your internet so rudely cut us off, we were talking about hand management and how this takes it to the next level. What can you tell us about that, Josh?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, absolutely. I think I kind of summed up basically how that affects the gameplay. Essentially, you're manipulating your hand to create the strategy that you want. So if you have 2 environmentals and you have a monster on the field and you're like, I don't want this monster to take this damage, or I want to discard this for the next turn, you can kind of manipulate and discard as you please, which really kind of reduces a little bit of that luck of just drawing every single turn from a shared deck.
And I was trying to grasp onto it. I think I was getting it by the time me and my daughter were done playing, but there's a part where you have your hand and you can play cards without activating environmentals or something? What can you tell us about that?
So, are you referring to the support cards?
Yeah, that's what it was. Support cards. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So the supports, there's two different ways to use them. Actually, there's three technically. Basically, you can play them, which is you playing them face down in your support slots. And the reason you would do this is because it kind of clears out your hand space. So if you don't want to keep them in your hand, and you're like, I want to draw 3 cards on my next turn, I'm going to play all 3 of these face down. That kind of clears up your hand space. And the other reason is if you want to do a strategy in a particular order, let's say, for example, you want to play all of your environmentals and then you want to activate Peace Offering, which basically Peace Offering is no player can use environmentals. So you kind of use those environmentals and then you kind of, annoy your opponents by saying, hey, now you guys can't do it on your next turn. So, but basically, so there's playing. So playing is the act of playing it face down, and then activating is turning it face up. So once it's active, you use the appropriate effect, whether that's a one-time use, two-time use, three-time use. You will get turn usage tokens. We call them turn usage points in the game, and you just place those on there to indicate how many turns or uses you have left. So that's basically how that goes. And then the third way of using it is the Nexus Globe, which that kind of evades all rules in the rule book, but basically you can only activate that from your Rebel pile, but it still activates like a normal support card.
Yeah, so I was kind of confused about that one. What can you tell us about that? I think it seemed like my daughter had figured it out, but I was kind of coming slow to the table. What about the Nexus card?
Yeah, so the Nexus Globe card, essentially what it is it kind of tricks your opponent. So the idea behind it is that you can only stop things from your hand. But that's not true. So the Nexus Globe, you put that in your Rebel pile, which is your discard pile, and you can activate that from the Rebel pile. So you kind of, once your Rebel pile kind of cards, starts stacking up, you kind of have a Nexus Globe hidden in there. And what the Nexus Globe does, so if you have an open support slot, you can activate that card and it prevents an attack by an opponent. So basically, let's say, okay, you attack me and I activate Nexus Globe. You now cannot attack me for the remainder of your turn. And that's what that card's effect does. But it has to only be used from the Rebel pile. You can play it face down, but you can never activate it. So if you play it from your hand, you can never activate it because it's not in your Rebel pile, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I pretty much discard that game straight away, and then that way it can be played later on?
Yeah. Or if you had like the effect of a card that said like discard 1 card from your hand, you would obviously want to discard Nexus Globe because that's better used in the Rebel pile.
Oh, okay. So discard that, and then I guess I have to remember what's in my Rebel pile. Otherwise, it won't do me any good.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things. Again, the strategy of the game is knowing when you should discard that. So if you don't have any monsters, it doesn't really make any sense to discard that card. But if you have a field full of monsters, you might want to say, well, I'm going to activate Nexus Globe so my opponent can't attack or hurt my monsters.
Okay, that's awesome. And during play testing, was there ever anything that you had to get rid of or that wouldn't work for this game? Or how'd play testing go down for Monster Mania, Joshua?
Yeah, I think we had talked a little bit about that, about what was changed in terms of, the abilities. We had monsters with abilities, we had events and landscapes, which are, those just modify gameplay in some way, shape, or form. But one of the big things is the thing that was changed was using environmentals with a monster in play. So the original game was you had your monsters in your hand, and then you would play your environmentals from there. And then let's you have to have a monster in your field in order to use it, because the monster is, the one throwing the building or throwing the school bus or whatever the case might be. But that was actually caught on by our consultant AJ. He's like, hey, why don't we try it this way, and kind of started building from there. And it's like, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. Let's you have to have monsters in play to use environmentals. And then one of the things that I had implemented earlier was, you could place counter cards face down in your support slots before they were called support slots, of course. And we decided that no, let's have them in your hand, because that way it adds an additional layer of strategy. It's like, if I have 2 cards in my hand, are you going to attack me? Because I might be able to evade one of those attacks. So that's where the bluffing mechanism comes in.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just looking at the art and stuff like I talked about before, even before we'd cracked the shrink wrap off the prototype copy you sent us, just looking at the box art, it's amazing.
Yeah, Taylor, she is just remarkably talented. I was very, very lucky to have found her. Actually, it's funny because my consultant, AJ, was the one who was like, hey, you're looking for an artist for your monster game. Hey, I have someone. She's really, really good. And I contacted her right away, and she's like, oh, hey, wow, that was really, really fast. You must be serious about this. It's like, yeah, I really want this game to, be created. And next thing I know, she's just churning out like this magnificent art. She did all the graphics. She's done all the graphics for the advertising. She did the entire rule book, the layout. It just all looks fantastic.
Awesome. And I know we talked about this last time as well, but looking at the different Kickstarter pages, they look night and day. Frontier, the card game, and Monster Mania.
Yes, and like you said, we did talk about this last time, but yeah, it was one of those things where I really, really wanted the page to be professionally presented. I wanted someone to cross the page and say, this project looks really good. It's really well constructed, and have faith in the project. So I think that the $1,500 that we've gathered so far, I think that is a big reason why.
Yeah, for sure. And with all, I would say it'd be more if everybody wasn't away from their computers for the weekend. But somebody's they're listening to this episode. They missed the last one. They're listening now. And with all those other great games that are on Kickstarter currently, Josh, why should they take a chance on Monster Mania if they haven't yet?
That is a really good question, and I do have an answer for that. And it's simply the fact of this game is different. It's very, very different. There's not a lot of, number one, big monster type games. Number two, you're not going to be getting a soundtrack with a lot of those games. And number three, a lot of those games do not come with all of those variants included in the original game. A lot of those are, add-ons or they kind of do those later down the line. They kind of extend that a little bit, but we're including all of that in the game. We don't have to get to any stretch goals to get it. It's just included in the game.
Yeah, that's always nice. I like that one, because otherwise I have to wait and see, they get a stretch goal, or I have to do an add-on. So that's pretty cool that you get all these variants or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a big reason why, we wanted, and I can't stress enough, if you have faith in my project, I want to make sure that you get the most out of what you're paying for. And I feel like the modes, there's hours and hours and hours of gameplay to be had for Monster Mania. There's so many different things in this game. I mean, I'm not going to say it's on the level of like Gloomhaven, but there's a lot of gameplay in this that can be had.
Yeah, I think the box is a little bit lighter, if I recall.
Yes, very much so. Not even close to Gloomhaven's weight or size,
But that's okay. It's a card game, and you don't. Yeah. But it looks like a really cool game, and like I said, me and my daughter played a little bit. We're gonna try to get our preview up, so get you off our tail, even though you haven't been on our tail like you should have been. But we're gonna try to get that preview up at the end of the week, so hopefully that'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be great. Yeah, and then we'll definitely add that to the page and give it even more beef and again, this podcast, the previous podcast interview that we did is on our Kickstarter page currently, and this one will be as well. We'll add that one.
Awesome. And yeah, maybe they don't like to hear my voice, but they want to hear more of you. They can do that either, like you said, the previous podcast, or they can go catch Richard of We're Not Wizards. That looks like it's listed there as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I had a fun time on both. So yeah, you both are great and both great interviewees, I guess, or interviewers.
Interviewers, yeah, you're the interviewee, but I think you've been great too.
Interviewers, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 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 absolutely. No, but yeah.
So that's good, and it looks like you're also going to be getting hopefully it'll be coming in. Any word on the what do you call it? Any word on the Undead Vikings video?
Yeah, so I reached out to him last week. It was before the launch, and he said that he was at PAX Unplugged and that he would be working on the video today, actually. So hopefully, I'll bother him again probably within the next couple of days to see if he has that ready to go. But he's going to do an entire playthrough video of the game. So, so for anyone who wants to watch a really in-depth video, he does some really, really good ones.
Awesome. And so will his be just a regular mode? I want to say Logan Chops did a solo playthrough possibly.
Yes, he did, and he really enjoyed that. He actually, when the game launched on Kickstarter, he did part of his solo gaming Saturdays, I think is what it's called. He played Monster Mania, and he did the Evolution Challenge, which is basically he had to beat the two prehistoric monsters with the alligator and crocodile monster. So, and he ended up winning.
Oh, good. That's always good.
Yeah, better than the last time that he played. In the video, he lost. So, so this time he actually did win, which was good. Oh,
good. Yeah, because he didn't remember. He said something about losing, but maybe I talked to him before he did the solo Saturday. It sounds like.
Yeah, and he and I didn't want to say this to him because he had done such a great job with the video, but he actually had a chance to win that game, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings by saying like, hey, you could have attacked on this. He had attack points that he did not use, and I'm like, no, use those attack points. You can win with these, and he he unfortunately could not hear my cries because the video had already been recorded
through the internet. Yeah, he didn't hear you. Your microphone was busted or your internet went out.
Exactly right. But no, he, like I said, he really enjoyed that mode, and it is a fun mode. You basically, you're taking on the different, you're taking on the AI essentially, and you're challenging, 2 or 3 different monsters at once with 1 or 2 monsters depending on what it is. And like I said, he did the evolution, then he did the exterminator challenge, which that's the one he lost, but he had a lot of fun. So
awesome. Yeah, and it sounds like this game kind of should appeal to different kind of gamers because, like you said, there's different modes. There's all kinds of different ways you can play it. Like he said, he did the solo preview or solo playthrough. There's also a multiplayer one that we don't necessarily like, as it's co-op because we don't really care for co-op. But then there's also a everybody against everybody monster mashdown or whatnot?
Yeah, that's actually, again, that's the main game mode because, that's the most fun, is the free-for-all. And one of the, like I was saying, there's actually 2 variants to the free-for-all modes. And like I said previously, you start with 1 monster in the game. Well, in those custom modes, each player starts with 2, or each player starts with 3, and you can imagine how much chaos happens when you start with 2 or 3 monsters. The game goes by really, really quick, and it's actually pretty fun, but it's depends on there's a lot of luck in that mode, but it's still fun.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have to get this back to the table, so I can see who will really win. Like I said, my daughter. I thought I almost had her, but then I didn't. So we'll have to see. So, and like I said, we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes so anybody who's listening can jump over and check that out. Hopefully, they'll be able to jump on it before all those miniature market people come on from the big email push they'll be doing.
Yeah, that's definitely hoping at least before the 6th, we're hoping to at least crest about 2,500. So we're hoping.
Yeah, so that'd be good. Awesome. Now, I think I've asked you this before, because you listen to Getting Geeky with Game Relief when you have time, don't you?
Yeah, I sure do.
We really appreciate it. But quick question for you. What can we do to make Getting Geeky with Game Relief a better experience for you, the listener, Joshua?
Honestly?
Or lie to me, whatever you prefer, I guess.
No, I don't really have anything. That's the thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I listen to you all is the recordings are so constructed, and I also like the fact that you can talk about other things and bring other types of things into it. But I honestly really enjoy it. I don't know that there's any, maybe I think you've done this with a few of the interviewees. I'll get that right this time.
There you go.
yeah, the interviewees, asking them about the future projects and stuff like that. I do enjoy that. I do enjoy hearing, like I listened to the one about the Glyph chess and how they had kind of another game in the works after that one. So I kind of like that. I like listening to what people have in store. It's kind of neat. So maybe a little bit more of that. But other than that, it's a great podcast show. So
awesome. So I wouldn't be a good interviewee from what it sounds like if I didn't ask you, what do you have in the hopper after Monster Mania, Joshua?
Yeah, so we're hoping, of course, the success of Monster Mania. We're hoping to do the expansion, which basically, save for the artwork, it is about done. We already have like 15 new monsters. We have a lot of different environments and stuff like that. We also have a pirate game that will be made. The artwork has not been made on that yet, but we do have a functioning prototype, and playtesters have really, really, really enjoyed that. It's basically like you gain a pirate crew. It's a deck building area control game, and it's a lot of fun. And then we also have Frontier Badlands, which is of course the expansion to Frontier the card game. That'll be launching probably later on in the year. Well, next year.
Awesome. But first we got to get Monster Mania to people's tables. Is that right?
Yes, that is the hope. That is the hope. And again, I can't stress this enough. You're getting a lot of stuff with it, and there also is the Mania pledge where you even get the comic book and the art of book too. So there's a lot of stuff that you're getting.
Cool, yeah. And even though Monster, I know we talked about Miniature Market will be carrying it, but before they can carry it, we need to get it through this Kickstarter campaign. So if anybody's listening right now, make sure you go ahead and click on over to the link and check out everything that's great about Monster Mania, and go ahead and show your support to both Getting Geeky with Game Relief so we can keep on having awesome guests, as well as the guests we have on. Go ahead and click those projects and back them if you like what you've heard or what you see on their pages. That really goes a long way.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it any better. That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. Well, we don't want to keep you all night, especially on a weeknight, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us last minute so we could tell people that maybe we're sleeping through the weekend all about Monster Mania.
No, absolutely. I really appreciate you having me on again, and for everyone listening, same. Thank you for listening.
Awesome.
Game Relief levels up.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Hopefully your internet was back up and you weren't sleeping through the week, because I know during the weekend when you launched, you maybe weren't glued to the internet. But now you have no excuses. So if you liked what you heard, go definitely check out Monster Mania. It's a strategic battle card game for 1 to 6 players. But you heard it all here on Getting Geeky with Game Relief again. So yeah, definitely go back the project. Let's help him get to that goal so we can bring this great game to monster fans alike. Now, it's our least favorite time, your least favorite time. Time for us to get on with our lives, you to get on with yours. But in the meantime, I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and might as well bring others into the geek fold. You know a way to do that? Go check out the Giveaway Geek, and you can get some but you can try to win a $200 gift card to Amazon to help you with your Christmas shopping. And you're already subscribed to Getting Geeky with Game Relief, so that gives you an extra entry. So why not go check it out? But anyways, go ahead and bring others into the Geek Fold by telling them about Getting Geeky with Game Relief. And like usual, we'll catch you on the flip side. Game Relief out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.